Hello everyone, this is Stephanie. I've got Spring Fling out, and I have it out for a reason. So we made the earrings and we made the bracelet, and here's the Spring Fling Cleopatra bracelet, which I called it because it looked like something Cleopatra would wear. So I've got many of you have requested that I make a necklace, and it got me thinking about all the little collections that I have, and I'm putting a few videos up now. I'm just, I don't know, 30 maybe. I know that's not much, but they're sort of all jumbled all over the place. So I thought if I made a collection of each design, then you could always go back and see if I've added something to that collection, and see if you want to make it. So we have the so this is like the Spring Fling collection, and I probably would add a ring to this down the road. We have, remember, the flower buds, so we have the bracelet, the earring, and then we have the necklace. So that would be the spring flower buds, so we have that. That would probably have a ring would come down eventually. We've got the Victorian chic, which is, has all kinds, is going to have all kinds of stuff in it. So I think I'm going to start, categorizing these things by collection, so that when you look at something, you see everything you could make with that particular collection, and we'll see how that works out. It might just categorize the videos a little bit better for you, so you can find things that you might like you might have already made this and you don't want to see this again. So anyway, so that was a thought I was having, and I'm going to try that. I did post the Peyote loop tutorial yesterday, and I hope that it has been helpful to you. So that one was a request, and I finally got to that one. So now I'm getting to this one. So here's the bracelet, here are the earrings, here's the bracelet, here's the necklace. So what I've done with the necklace, I've made a very simple necklace. I thought a lot about the necklace. I thought a lot about, what am I going to do? Do I make it, do I do something with this? Do I make it really, now you could make it so many different ways using these Tila beads, and it could be big and bold, and or it could be simple, and I went with simple. The bracelet is simple. The earrings are going to be the challenging part if you want to make these earrings. This bracelet is such a great beginner bracelet, and the necklace, if you're a beginner, I mean, this is a perfect set for a beginner. Now the earrings will be a little bit more difficult, but so throw on another earring, and don't make these until you feel like being a little, that you might be a little frustrated making them, because where they're just a small amount of beads, to getting them on just right takes a little bit of experience. But the bracelet, the necklace, really simple, fun to do, quick, not going to take a long time. You can, you'll learn many stitches. Like with this bracelet, you're going to learn square stitch. You're going to learn peyote, because you might make a peyote toggle. You're going to learn how to put the little bicone at the end of your toggle. So already you've learned how to make a peyote toggle. You've learned square stitch. If you do the earrings, you will learn brick stitching around a component. And once you learn that, I think you can do anything. As far as I'm concerned, because to me that's the hardest thing, to get to look right. So anyway, so I've gotten a lot of requests for, I posted this on Facebook, this set on Facebook, and I got a lot of requests for the necklace. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to take, I'm going to make it in these sort of charcoaly gray colors. I'm just going to start pulling some stuff out of the way and give you some materials list. This one is made, of course, with the matte metallic bronze Tila. It's made with metallic bronze bugle beads, and what I've done to match my bracelet, which is this one, I've taken the sort of olivine color Swarovski bicone that I have in here, and I put it around, and I've taken the, which is hard to see on this bracelet, but there's a sort of a tealy blue color also in there, as well as the earring has that sort of, that has the olivine here, but then this sort of teal kind of blue green bead in there as well. So I've incorporated that in my necklace. Now the drops on this, the bicones are Swarovski, and I had started the necklace and I ran out. I'd like to say this was a design decision to, you know, put the dark and then the light. Really wasn't. I ran out and I knew that I had these sort of teal colored beads in there, and I thought, okay, so I'll use an emerald bicone, and it looks pretty. I kind of like it. I didn't want to order more of these at the moment, so I just completed it, ended it that way. Now I have a couple other things. One other thing. So I did the end kind of like our bracelet, see? And as I was working on this end to make the loop, I just I don't know, I was in the zone and I was just doing my beading, and then I was actually looking at this bracelet to go with it, and I ended up making, I'm going to just turn this around a little bit because it'll be easier, this loop. And I just don't understand why I made this loop when I made this tiny little bead, which is no way it's going to fit in there. I think I was really thinking of this, because look at the loop on this. So I try to figure out why I do the things I do, and sometimes I can figure it out and sometimes I can't, but I know this was it. So I was looking at the bracelet, and I meant to actually probably put a toggle at that end, and I didn't. So I have kind of a mixture of the toggle and this big loop, so I had to figure out what am I going to do with the loop to get this little bead to go through it. So what I did was I made a second loop. I just went around with my tail thread and I just added some beads, and I made it to fit inside the bigger loop. Now I have a camera which I can zoom in on now, and hopefully that zoomed in nicely. So I've got two loops, and the smaller loop fits the bead. So there we go. It's nice and steady, it's sturdy, it's going to stay on your neck, it's not going to come out. This is, like as I said, this is the accidental loop closure, but it's I think it's kind of pretty. I'm going to make it with this closure as such, but if you want to, you can just do a big loop and then do a small loop inside of it. Experiment. It's kind of fun to I'm going to pull out a little bit. It's kind of fun to experiment with all different kinds of things. And sometimes when you make a mistake, or what you think is a mistake, it's just an opportunity to design something a certain way. So here's the simple, very simple Tila bugle bead. It's got a delica, it's got a little 15-0 picot, it's got the 4mm bicone. You can actually use seed beads instead of the bugle beads. I just use the bugle beads because at one point I bought a ton of them and I don't know what to do with them. So I'm trying to figure out ways to use them, and they actually look kind of pretty. And then you've got a little picot at the bottom. Now just a couple of the things I did. I tried it like this, which is, I can't see that on my mat. I'm using little 3mm bicones here, and I've alternated a seed bead and a bugle, so you could do that. Just an idea. On this one, if you don't want to invest in all those Swarovskis, because you're going to need about 80 to 100 bicones, depending on the size of your neck. This is sort of a collar, so you want it to fall around the bones. You don't want it to be too long. It's not going to fit properly. It's actually a collar, so I do it right beneath the neck collarbones, or somewhere in that vicinity. So you may not want to go out and purchase all those bicones, but you can go to your local craft store, and if you live in the States, it would be a Michael's or an AC Moore or whatever other craft store you might have, and you can actually find these bicones. They're not as, and this is very sparkly. This happens to have an AB coating that really, really sparkles a lot. So you can just use bicones that you get at the craft store, and they will be fine. They're not as, I don't think they're as beautiful as a Swarovski, but you can, if you get most of your materials from the craft store, then you can find these bicones, and you can find them very reasonable, get coupons and such. So, you know, it can be made reasonably priced. The Swarovski bicones are not that expensive. And there's also a Preciosa bicone, but I think Preciosa is practically the same price as Swarovski. So, you know, you can use 4mm fire polish on this. You can use any 4mm. You can even use a smaller, you know, I don't know if I'd go any smaller. You can use maybe a larger bicone if you want. So there's a whole lot you can do with this. It's a very, very simple bracelet. I'm a little trying to get this done before it gets dark, because or before it rains, because it looks like we might have some rain, because I'm only have one light today. I'm a little bit out of light, and I know I always have excuses. This has happened today, that happened, my camera was this, my camera was that. I kind of feel like I don't know if this is aging me, but or dating me, but Rosanna Dana and Gilda Radner, you know, bless her soul, she played that character on Saturday Night Live, and she was like always complaining if it's not one thing or it's another. I loved her. I thought she was great. Anyway, so I digressed. I apologize. I'm going to get the materials together. I'm going to put them out and give you a materials list. Okay, so we've got our materials together, and what I've done is I've threaded about a wingspan of Fireline onto my needle, and as I always do, I always flatten the tip. I've already threaded it, but I just wanted to remind you, flatten that tip of the Fireline before you thread the needle, and it'll go through very easily. Take a stop bead, which I did neglect to tell you, so get yourself a little stop bead, bring it down, come up through it so it stops the beads. It's just going to hang out there, and I'd say leave about a 14-inch tail, because you might want to use the tail to put on either the loop or the bead. And maybe not, but I would leave it anyway, just so that way you can make that decision. All right. So what I'm going to do, first I want to show you before I start, is that a Tila has, and I'm gonna try to zoom in a little bit. I'm learning my new camera. Okay, that's pretty good. Tila has a flat side and a rounded side. You can see it more this way to see how that's sort of rounded and that's flat. Okay, so let me zoom out again. Now, a lot of people, beaders, like the Tila's all in one direction. You can't really tell that much, but I'm going to do them. This is how I've learned how to do it without getting too frustrated. So I'm going to take a Tila. I'm going to put it rounded side up, and I'm going to put my needle through. See, it's rounded side up, and I'm going to put my needle through the right hole. So it's two holes. I'm putting it the one to the right, and I'm going to pull through. Pull that down to my stop bead. So that's going to be on my stop bead, just like that. Okay. I'm going to pick up another Tila. I'm going to pick up the domed side. I'm going to pick it up through the right side hole. I'm going to come around my other Tila, come up through the bottom hole. I'm going to put those two together. And that, hold on, then I'm going to just finish this. I'm going to come down the next hole and then up to get ready to put on my next Tila. Okay, so that's your square stitching. You did this with the bracelet if you made it. We'll worry about that, the tail later. We'll put it up. So that puts the two Tilas together, and they're both the same side up. Now if you want to do it with the flat side up, just pick it up the same way every time. For this bracelet it works. I don't know if it works with everything, but for this bracelet, this is how I made it work out with this bracelet. So I pick it up with the round side, you know, the dome side. I pick it up in the right hand hole. I'm going to come up through the previous Tila. I'm going to pull it into place. I'm going to go down the next hole and then up the second hole. So, oops. So now I have 3 on my needle. Pick up a Tila, again, I'm picking it up in the right hand hole, and it's got the dome surface on top. I'm going to go through the hole I'm coming out of, the previous bead, and I'm going to pull till that one goes on. I'm going to go down the next hole. Oops. Just want to make sure I'm in frame. Okay. And then up that end. Okay. So we're going to be reinforcing this many times, so you don't have to really worry about, if they look like they're coming apart a little bit, it's okay. I don't want it super tight because it's, we want it to curve. So I'll do that one more time. Take your Tila. Mine's on the curved side. I'm going to stick my needle in. I've stuck my needle in through the right side hole. I'm just going to come up, see, through the bead, the previous bead. I'm going to pull. That's going to pop that into place. I'm going to come down the very next hole of that Tila I just put on. Okay, you can pull it inward a little bit. Pull inward if it looks like it's coming apart. You have to pull it super tight because we've got a lot of, we're putting a few passes through this. And that's what you have. Okay, one more time and then I'm going to send you off on your own. I'm picking up a Tila. I've got the dome side and the right side of my, the right hole. I'm going to go through the previous Tila. Okay, puts that one on. I'm going to go down the next hole and up to get myself ready for the next Tila. Okay, so there you have it. So keep doing that. Do that until you've gotten the amount that you will need. And what you can do is as it starts to look like it's getting closer to to the right size, just put it around your neck. See where it falls. If you like where it falls, leave it. If not, add a few more beads. My necklace took 80 beads, 80 Tilas. So, and it's about 17 and a half inches with the clasp. So, you'll need anywhere, depending on your neck size, I would say 80 to 100. I don't have a huge neck, but it's not tiny either. You might even need less than that if you're really petite. So go on with your Tilas, put them all on, and when you think you're about done, as far as how many Tilas you need to go around your neck, we'll stop and then we'll do the next step. Oops. Okay, so we're back. I've got my actually 83 Tilas in a row, and I'm thinking all kinds of fun stuff, like maybe just put some little seed beads, picots, and make a wrap out of it. But anyway, okay, I'm not going to digress too far. I'm going to continue with the necklace. Just, the brain is always thinking, the creative mind, it just, just pops in all the time. So I'm going to actually do this closure. So I'm going to put on a hematite bead, which I found over there, and 2 O beads, which I have. These are full Labrador. I don't know. I think these were chrome, but I don't have the chrome, so I'm not going to put them in. Anyway, so I'm going to do that closure. So let's put that on right now. So we'll take, maybe I'll see if I can pull in just a little bit. Okay. So let's take 6 15-0s. Got my pile here of different grays. That's 4, 5, 6. Okay. And I'm going to take an O bead. my clasp button. And this is, I believe, a 7mm hematite. I think when they're stones, they're not quite 6. They may call it 6, but that's a 6 fire polish, and this one looks a little bit bigger. But anyway, anything 6 or higher. 3 15-0s. Okay. I'm going to bring that down. I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to skip the 3 15-0s. I'm going to go down the O bead, the hematite, and the O bead. Pull. Fix my little picot. Take 6 more. $15s, and I'm going to come around and put the other leg of my clasp on. Just give it a little pull to get it in place. Continue. Okay, I might have put an extra one on because it doesn't seem to be sitting. 1 2 3 4 5 6. 1 2 3 4. No, I'm 6. Okay, so it's just me. I just need to, there we go. Okay, just need to pull it a little bit in place. Okay, so we're going to go through that again anyway. So here we go. We've got our little clasp on. So let's go through it again to get it nice and tight. I think that's the reason it looks a little bit wonky at the moment. So I'm going through the seed beads and the O bead, the 6mm, 7mm, 8mm, whatever you're put on there. Coming up, there we go. Then I'm going to go through the little picot. So I'm doing those one at a time. 2, 3, down through the crystal 6mm, 7mm, whatever you're putting on there, and we're going to come through the other leg of the closure here. So there you go. That sort of straightens everybody out. So now you've got your little one end on, and that's 2 passes. We'll make another pass. So we're going to go up. Okay, and then we're going to pull that tight. Okay, we're going to come down. Okay, so we have got a nice end on there now, and we're going to start adding on our drops. So these little guys right here. So take a delica, a bugle bead, a delica, a 4mm bicone, fire polish, 4mm anything, 3, oops, 1, 2, 3 seed beads. Let's just bring that down like that. So this is what you have. Okay, so get the light a little better. I'm going to pass the 3 seed beads, go up the 4mm bicone, pull, and the delica, and pull. Get that into a nice little picot on the bottom. I'm going to add a bugle bead and a delica, just one. I'm going to go up, and you've got your first drop. Now it'd be kind of cool if we can get our picot on at the same time, so let's give that a try. Take 3 seed beads, come down through, that next hole, go up, Okay, let's take our, it's kind of interesting. This is a little different way of doing it, but it's working out so far. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, and I'm going to go down one more time because I don't want to go through these again. I think it's too much busy work going through these again, so I'm just going to put my next leg on. So I'm taking a delica, a bugle bead, a delica, a 4mm, 3 15 seed beads. I'm going to drop those down. I'm going to pass up the 4mm and the delica. Got my picot. Okay, I'm going to add a bugle bead. I'm going to add a delica. I'm going to go up. Yeah, this works out kind of well. That way you don't have to go back and do the picots around the top. We've got a nice couple of good passes through this. You could even do 3 before we start this part. So there you go. We have our second drop on. Take 3 seed beads, 15 O's. You can use 11 O's. They might pop up better. Put them, go down that one hole, come up the next bead. Sorry about that. Come down the next one. Yeah, so we're kind of reinforcing as we go along. This is working out. This is not how I planned it, but this is the way it turned out, and I think it's a good way. That way we're not, we don't have to pass back and forth and back and forth. So we've got our delica, our bugle bead, and our delica. 4mm, 3 15 O's. Okay, I'm going to bring those down. I'm going to pass the 3 15 O's and go up the 4mm bicone and the delica. Don't forget that delica. Okay, like so. I'm going to pull that through. Make sure you're getting a picot. I'm not getting a picot there. So I'm just going to pull my threads a little bit. Come on, you. Okay. Take a bugle and a delica. Come up. Don't get caught on your previous crystal. That can happen. Give that a pull. I'm going to take my 3 15 O's. I'm going to come down just the Tila bead, not anything else. Then I'm going to come up and I'm going to start my next round. Now you can poke up your center bead. Actually, they're sitting up pretty nicely. So that's what we're doing. So we're getting this all done. So do that the entire length of your necklace, and then we'll come back and we'll put on the other end of the clasp. But I don't think I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do this one. Okay. So have fun. Go to your happy place while you're doing all this. It's very repetitive, but it's really good learning, and I'll meet you back here in a little bit. Okay, so I've come back for a moment because I've run out of thread. See, that's all I have left, so it's about 4 inches or so. And for those of you who need a little help adding on thread, I know I always do. I'm going to do just a little few minutes on adding some thread onto this project. So we've got I've gotten almost half done. It takes a while. It's a lot of square stitching, but it's good. It's good to learn this. It's good to keep doing it. It's good. It will be ingrained in your brain when you're done with this. So where it's very simple, it looks very elegant on, and I love that about it. So those of you who need the little primer for adding on thread, I am going to make an attempt at bringing my zooming in a bit on with my new camera, which is so thrilling. Okay, so thread's coming out here. See right there? So that's that bottom hole of this Tila here. So we have to go back a Tila or two and weave our way through. But you want to make sure you weave your way through so you're coming out of the exact same hole that this thread is coming out of. So I calculated that if I put, and the way I calculated is, I looked at it and I said, well, if I go through this hole and then here and then up here and then down here and up here, I'll end up coming down here. So if I did it somewhere, you know, at the other end, it would have come out maybe out of the top. So anyway, I've threaded my needle with about a wingspan of Fireline, and I'm going to bring it down through that bead. You've got a few, you know, threads hanging here, so just be mindful that you don't get them caught. Okay, so then I'm going to come down the next hole. So I'm just essentially just weaving in, and see, just watch that, make sure you don't get anything caught. Just essentially weaving my way back to where I was, and that way it holds the, you know, the thread stays in place, and I don't have to worry about pulling it out. So already it's pretty firm. So I'm going to go down the next one. If you notice my bead mat, my favorite blue bead mat, I spilled a cup of coffee on it. And I just couldn't save it. It's my favorite bead mat. You can hardly ever find a bead mat in blue. That was the only blue one I could ever find. Most of them are, and this pink one was really, you know, funny when I got it, because you know, you order, let's say you order a group of them, and they don't tell you what color they are. And actually, I'm going to back off a teeny bit. Okay, they don't tell you what color they are, so you end up with all different colors. And I loved the blue one, and so all right, so I'm going to stop for a second. So here I am. I'm coming out of the same thread, out of the same hole as my working thread. See? Okay. Let me move this a little bit just so you can see it. Okay. So I'm coming out of this Tila, the bottom. Just moving that one out of the way. I'm going to go up the next one. And be careful about getting caught. You can get caught. I always get caught on beads. And then, so we're coming up the next one. We're going to go down the next one. And this is just like what you were doing before. Now I've got a really long piece on here, so because I want to make this whole necklace, because I want to make the set and wear it. So now we're in position to put on some more beads. Okay, so take your delica, your bugle, and then your delica, 4mm crystal. Did I get that delica? Yes. 3 15-ohs. Okay, I'm going to bring that down. Okay, I'm going to go back up the 3 15-ohs, the 4mm, and the first delica. Okay. Pull. It's a little clumsy with the long thread at first, but you know, you've gotten to this point, and it gets, as the thread gets shorter, it gets easier, right? Okay, so we're coming out of the delica that's on top of that bicone. We're going to add a bugle and a delica. We're going to go up that Tila. I'm sort of trying to pull my thread in the right direction. It's hard to do that on camera. I've got my tail caught, so I'm going to pull the tail out. So just be careful the first, few beads beads you put on, that you don't, get tangled up in your previous thread. And this is where we take 3 15-ohs or 11-ohs or the crystal and two 15-ohs, whatever you want to do to embellish the top. Come down through the Tila, just the Tila. Pull. Okay, and then come up. Just make sure your thread is not wrapped around your crystal. Come up. If I hold it sideways, I've got such a long piece of thread, it's hard for me to stay in frame. Okay, go down. Remember, this is how we're doing this. So we're reinforcing and adding the embellishment on the top as we go. And now you're ready for your next set of crystals, bicones, the crystals, bugles, and delicas. Anyway, so that's how you add on thread. Now what you can do at this point is you can sort of weave this around a little bit, your original thread, and the tail thread of the piece you put on. You could weave that around a few beads, because this, as I said, there's plenty of room. We're not going to be going through the beads again because we're doing it all at once, so I don't think you're going to have any problem. Anyway, just to finish my bead mat story, yes, I spilled a cup of coffee on my beautiful blue bead mat, and I had ordered more, and I got pink ones and yellow ones, and I don't like the yellow ones, so I want my blue. I miss my blue bead. I want my blue bead mat back, but that's why I'm using a pink one, because I know that, I think I've used that blue bead mat forever. So anyway, that's how you add on thread, and I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of my necklace, and then we're going to put the clasp on, and we're going to look at our beautiful necklace when we're done. Okay, so we're back, and we're at the very end of the necklace. Here it is. So it was a long one, but it was it's going to be gorgeous. And I thought of all kinds of things to do with this as I was going on, different, alternating different drops. And also I accidentally put 4 beads, little seed beads, for the embellishment up here, and it sort of made a little curved, here I'll show you real quick. It made a little curved, instead of a picot, it looked kind of cute. So if you're just watching the video and, oops, I only did 3. If you're just watching the video and you haven't made it yet, and you want to make it, you might consider a 4th seed bead. Let's see, where am I? Right here. And see how it gives it sort of a little loop. Here, let me pull in a little bit. Okay, it gives a little loop at the top. So you might want to consider that. I'm leaving it with 3 because that's how I started it. So I'm just going to take that one off. But just a thought of, there's so many ways you can do this. That, this is them giving you the basics here. Okay, so we're at this point where we're going through. Remember, we go down. And now we're going to put on the last embellishment. Okay, so there, that's what I'm going to put on. I'm going to drop that down. Okay, just like that. And I'm going to come up through the seed beads. I'm going to ignore the seed beads, come up through the 4mm bicone, the delica bead, and give that, just get a little pull to get it in place. Okay, and then we're going to take a bugle bead, a delica. We're going to go through the very top, the very last bead coming from underneath, go up. This is what you've been doing all along. Now I have my tail thread on here, and I did leave a long one, and I'm not going to use it, so that's a decision you'll have to make, whether or not you want to use your tail thread to sew on the clasp, or if you have thread. I have thread on my needle, so I'm just going to use the thread that's on my needle, and I'll tie in my tail thread. Okay, so there we go. We're done with the the necklace. So we're going to put on the loop to go with the crystal, or the hematite, or whatever, the stone. So we're going to do this. You can do it any way you want. You can do the toggle. There's a peyote toggle how-to up there. You can do it with the double, like I did on this one, with the double strand. It's just going around twice. You go around once, then go around on the inside, make it smaller so your bead will fit through. But I'm just going to do the standard, this one, which I kind of like. It looks pretty, and it's a small clasp on the back. It doesn't have to be huge. So I'm just going to take my bracelet, and I'm going to add 6 seed beads. Six. I'm going to add a 4mm bicone. Then I'm going to add a number of seed beads to get around my bead. So I think that's going to be about 22 for me. That's 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So we'll see how that works out. And I'm just going to, here I am, I'm going to go through the last, I'm going to skip all the beads except the last one before the bicone right there. So get all of these other beads out of the way. Can you see that? Yes. And then I'm going to go through the first bead under the bicone. And then I'm going to add 5 15-ohs. And I'm going to come through, just through the Tila. Don't go through any of the beads, just the Tila, and pull that closed. And there you've got it. Okay, so what you want to do from here is just reinforce your loop, come around a couple of times, reinforce your loop, tie off your threads, and then we'll come back and we'll take a look at everything we've made. Okay, we're done. So here you go. Here's our pretty matte bronze color with the olivine crystals all around, and here's the one I just did that I'm going to wear to dinner this weekend. Or just out. But when you it actually comes around like a collar length, so it's really just above the bones, but it falls really nicely as a collar. It sort of drapes to your neck, and even these little, having the crystals all around looks gorgeous. And I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's so sparkly that you just look like you have just a ring of sparkle around your neck. And then here's the bracelet. I put it with the day to night earrings, or you can make, a set of these in, which I think I will do. I've been wanting to make these in with a silver bead. So, and here's the other bracelet. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you make the necklace. I will post a picture of the gray one on Facebook, and I'll see you in the next video.